The Heartless CEO. Written by Yaron G. Chapter 9. Danica hurriedly got changed and called Gardo again when she remembered something. "The babies, how are they?" Danica asked as she prepared to leave.
"The baby is in the incubator, ma'am. The other one is being taken care of by Soledad. Both of them are girls,"
Gardo replied to her.
"Why didn't she answer my call last night?"
Danica was still intrigued by this.
"Oh, ma'am, please be patient. Soledad is already old. That's why she is prone to nervousness. She was panicking last night and can't remember where her phone was placed. Plus, she chased after Nicole, so she didn't have time to think of calling you."
Danica believed Gardo's story. Soledad allegedly became confident that Nicole could no longer stand because she was so weak after giving birth. She used the bathroom, and after that, Nicole was gone. Danica smirked. She admired Nicole's courage. She was able to fight until her last breath.
"After you bury her, clean the house there. I'm giving you that house. Also, expect someone who's a relative of that woman to come."
Gardo responded with a series of nods even though the person he was talking to could not see him. Danica will make it so that Nicole's body has been cremated. How she will make it look realistic is her own problem. He guessed that she will make another letter like the one with a picture he sent to Steven before. One strong evidence that Nicole really wanted to leave the child with them is the video they took last night. He had already passed it on to Danica, and she was very pleased. Connor was also heartbroken when he saw Nicole. The doctor is already taking care of her, but her condition is still not good because she lost a lot of blood.
"I've cleaned her up, but we need to take her to my clinic,"
Dr. Damian said to Connor while taking off his gloves.
"Do what you have to do to save her life. I don't know yet who did this to her, and no one should be able to know where she is now. Her life is in danger, so if you can, keep your clinic closed. I'll take care of all the expenses."
Damian tapped the gentleman on the shoulder. He was very kind, and he knew that he would not let the woman die like his daughter who had passed away. He understood him. He could see that the woman's condition was no joke. He could not imagine how the woman was able to walk after giving birth. As a doctor, he knew that she did not give birth to only one child. He has to take her to his clinic for a blood transfusion. While Nicole was being carried to the car, Connor thought of taking video and sent it to his son, who was in Canada. Gavin clenched his fist while saying the video his father sent to him. He had not yet met the woman personally, but he was happy when his father adopted her back then. He was also saddened to hear that she had left without saying goodbye to his father. Now he understood, and it looked like someone really wanted to kill her.
"We need to take her away when her condition become better."
Despite being a man, Gavin also cried when he saw his father crying. He recalled how his father's world has collapsed when he saw his sister's dead body. He would never let that happen again. He does not want his father to fail again and lose the person he considers his daughter. "I'll take care of the needed papers right away, so you can soon bring her here with her son." Gavin's words to his father. His mouth was shut and tears continued to flow from Connor's eyes as he nodded at his young son. Tony followed the gentleman and he carried the baby, who was still asleep. It seems like he has a mind, not masking trouble because his mother's life is in danger. From the doctor's house, they moved to his clinic, which is also nearby. It was still dark around, so there is no one else.
Brother, do you know where Danica is?
Rita asked her sibling when Danica did not answer her call. Stephen glanced at his sister standing in front of him. He did not leave the house today and was waiting for a call from the person he gave a task to. He decided to search the hospitals to find out if Nicole had given birth. He hadn't seen Danica for a few days, and he didn't care about that.
Brother, you're just thinking about that woman.
Rita kicked the air because she was annoyed with her brother. She was the only one who was worried about Danica's feelings. Rita knows that her friend is still hurting, especially because her brother's attention is only on finding the child Nicole will give birth to this month.
Why don't you call her?
He replied nonchalantly to his sister before looking back to the laptop screen. He was searching for all the hospitals to see if there is a patient named Nicole. Rita frowned as she turned her back on Steven. She is very worried about Danica because she is nowhere to be found. She looked at her grandmother, who was quietly reading the newspaper. She knew she was also looking for the Steeler woman. To her and Steven, the child is very important. Danica took care of all the children's papers, but she only wanted to take care of one child. She didn't want the sick child, so she thought of giving it to Soledad as a gift because she didn't have a child. She was the registered mother on the paper on the child, and she named her Daniela. She enjoyed looking at the baby. She is beautiful and she looks like Steven. She was sure her boyfriend would be pleased when he sees the child. Danica spent 3 days before showing up to Nicole's parents with Soledad. The sick child still remained in the hospital, and she was the one paying for the bills. Without her husband supporting her, rocks might have fallen to the floor when she heard what Danica said.
Gadma, I'm sorry if I couldn't do anything to keep Nicole alive. I also didn't know what you went through hardships.
Danica sobbed as she hugged Nicole's mother, who was crying hard.
My daughter, why did her life end like this?
Rock's voice grew louder as she cried. She can't accept that her daughter is gone and she blames herself. Joey feels his world has collapsed at the news that his daughter is dead. He didn't want to lose her forever, but she was gone, with resentments for them, her parents. She preferred her body to be burned because she didn't want them to see her even one last time. He hugged Rox tightly and they both could not accept what had happened.
Joey, I can't. I just wanted to teach her a lesson, so I kicked her out.
Rock's body has fallen on the floor as she cried. Danica comforted the lamenting couple. She hugged them and the child was held by Soledad. She proves that she took care of Nicole. The couple believed it. Rox fainted a few minutes later due to extreme bitterness and attack of conscience as well. She couldn't accept that their daughter is gone. Joey quickly catches his wife's body and carried her to the room. He called their private doctor to check on his wife. He also blames herself for their daughter's death. If he hadn't let her go when his wife kicked her out, she might still be alive today. Madame Asuncion heard about Danica bringing the child to Nicole's family. She immediately goes to the woman's place with Steven and Rita to find out the whole truth. They also want to see the child, and they are both eager to see it. The expression on Steven's face was icy and there was no emotion to read on his face. He stared at the child after seeing the jar of ashes of Nicole's body.
She left the child to Danica and she asked me to call her before she was out of breath.
Soledad told them as she wiped the tears from her eyes with a handkerchief. Steven's gaze shifted to Danica, who was now carrying his child. His eyes suddenly lukewarm as he stared at the two. He approached them and watched the child intently. She is undeniably his daughter. He froze again as he looked at the children's lips. He quickly averted his gaze from her and the cold expression returned to his face. Danica didn't know what the young man was thinking now. At the visible reaction on his face, he seems to not like something.
Steven, I just followed her last wish, and I don't want to disappoint her this last time.
Steven stared at Danica's face. Her red eyes were already swollen from crying. He could feel the weight she was feeling now. He only meets Nicole's parents for the first time, and he didn't know how to act towards them.
We are sorry for your daughter's death.
Madame Asuncion talks to the arms-turned couple.
Even Rita showed sympathy to Nicole's parents.
She felt sorry for them because their daughter passed away without them by her side. Rox and Joey were unable to speak. They also don't know how to deal with a family their daughter tried to be part of. The Scout clan is well known in society because of their reputation in the field of business.
I didn't hope for your daughter to be gone. You probably already know the truth behind me having a child with her.
Steven spoke as well. Knox nodded tearfully in response to the young man.
I will take the child, and she will grow up in my care. As for your daughter's last wish, Danica will be the child's mother.
Danica was secretly happy to hear that from the young man. Even though he was emotionless, she was contented. Rita hugged her, and she knew she was restraining herself from showing how much happy she is for her. They need to remain sad because they are still in front of people grieving the death of Nicole.
We understand, but I hope you don't refuse. We wish to be with our grandchild sometime.
Joey pleads with the young man.
Expect that. She will still recognize that you are the parents of her real mother.
But brother, the child can't know that Danica isn't her real mother.
Rita was quick to oppose her brother. Danica secretly thanked her for becoming her voice. Steven shot his sister a sharp look, telling her to be quiet.
She's just my daughter's mother on the paper. I don't want to take away all the rights of the child's real mother. I don't want her to grow up with a hidden lie and who she is.
Danica clenched her fist. Anger is brewing in her heart again because she couldn't have what she wanted. Rita looked at their grandmother with eyes asking for help, but she just ignored her and agreed with her brother. After the clear conversation, Stephen accompanied Nicole's parents to sprinkle her ashes into the sea. Danica didn't expect Stephen himself to carry the jar her ashes were placed in, even though she knew Nicole wasn't the one in it. Jealousy still ground at her heart. She can't accept that Stephen valued her former friend, that he even took time for her to send her to her last destination. Rox fainted again after the ashes of her daughter's body were sprinkled. She was very sorrowful and repentant. If she had not sent Nicole away back then, she might still be alive and well in her care when she was still pregnant. Even if she regrets it, it's too late, and she will carry her conscience for the rest of her life. To be continued.